Today, I'm critiquing Harry Gesner's sandcastle, a property which he built with his own bare hands out of reclaimed material for himself. I'm going to give this property an Arvin score at the end of the video and tell you guys why I believe it's his best work. I'm Arvin Haddad, I'm the How to Buy a Mansion guy. Let's watch this video together. Okay, let's pause it here because this bird eye view shows you everything. Otherwise, you're going to get confused in this video. Here's the main house. This is the nest. This is the tree house. And I believe right underneath it is the boathouse. Now, you do have a private driveway. It's right here in a gated community, North Malibu.
Welcome. My name is Arvin Gesner. I'm the son of Harry Gesner, who's the architect of the sandcastle. 33604 Pacific Coast Highway, Malibu, California.
This property came on the market for $22.5 million and sold for a bargain of $13.5 million. In my valuation, very close to dirt value.
Sandcastle is a one-of-a-kind structure. My father built it with reclaimed materials. The property has 6 bedrooms. There's 3 in the main sandcastle and 3 in 3 separate apartments surrounding the property. 122 feet of beach frontage on a very secluded North Malibu cove. It was the late 60s, and my father proposed to my mother right up there on the bluff and pointed down to this empty lot and said, "Nan, if you marry me, I'll build you your dream house down there." He wanted to build a house that was the ultimate family beach house, something that promoted creative thought. He had a unique way of starting a project, and that was usually to go and camp out on the job site before anything was ever built there to assess how nature interacted with it.
Okay, this should be standard. Now, I don't care if you take your sleeping bag, but you should see the property from sunrise to sunset because you want to see how the topography is and what are the elements around it that this lot is going to interact with. Is there a mountain blocking your view or sunlight? Are there trees blocking your view? Is there an ugly building next to you? Like, there's all these elements that you have to understand and see to make sure you foresee future problems or opportunities that might arise.
I was about 1 and we were sitting out on the beach, and in my father's book he has a picture of us building a sandcastle, and on the back of that photograph he wrote, "Let's build a sandcastle for mommy." So now we're in the sandcastle. I had told you before that my father built this house for my mother. She was a Broadway actress, and so he designed this fireplace like a Greek theater show. The hearth is the stage, and the sunken living room is the theater house.
Okay, this is one of the reasons why I think this property, the sandcastle, is better than the property next door, which he also built and considered by most people his best work, which is called the Wave House. The Wave House living room is very similar in this, with one big difference as to the fireplace is center on the view side. And in this property, it actually is in the center of the living room. So you have 2 different experiences. One is looking out towards the view, but when you turn around, you have this focal point and this fireplace that really does look like an amphitheater, right? It draws your attention, it demands your attention, and creates this focal point where you can congregate when it gets darker. I think with ocean view properties, there should be a humongous attention to night experience, right? Because when it gets dark, it's pitch black. And it's very appropriate to give an opportunity for everybody to turn around and look at something different. And what could you ask for as a beautiful fireplace that looks like the Hollywood Bowl and was inspired by Hollywood Bowl, and have you sit down and congregate around here facing in?
99% of this house is built from reclaimed materials. My father believed that older materials had a life to them, a soul. So the floor is maple. It's from a school that was burning down. The fire chief called my father and said, "Harry, you better come down here. Maybe there's some good planks in there." My father went down, shaved off a little bit of the char, and saw there was beautiful maple underneath. So he grabbed as much of it as he could and put it into the floor of the house.
Okay, this is absolutely crazy because Harry Gesner never studied architecture. He became an architect by doing. And when I say doing, I mean doing construction. He learned all the skill sets to build the house by actually practicing it. So when it came to building his own house, out of his love for nature, was a bit of a hippie, and beach Malibu vibe, but also out of budget constraints, he was open to using material, which a lot of people will look at who went to school for this material and be like, there's no way we're going to use a, telephone pole. But he was comfortable with it because he understood how to build. And this is incredible. You rarely ever see architects to have this level of knowledge, right? To have this much confidence to pick up, used wood or brick in a fire home that might be distressed and stuff and build something 50 years ago or 60 years ago and still standing. It's insane.
The walls of this house, this is old growth redwood from aqueduct pipe that was in Northern California. The brick in the fireplace is from a building that was being demolished downtown LA. These support poles are old telephone poles, and they have a beautiful design pattern to them. Those stained glass windows that are over here in the greenhouse.
Okay, this is an amazing moment, right? Look at this. I mean, you have a greenhouse, dirt, vegetables, stained glass, light coming in, changing reflection, giving vibe. But this is very hard to pull off in a circular round layout. But look how many moments it's created. This is not the only one. It's actually so well partitioned, this living room, where it's open, but every space has a purpose and a reason to hang out in.
My father got a call from a fire chief, once again, who said, Harry, they're tearing down this beautiful church in Pasadena. They're taking all of this beautiful stained glass away. Do you want any? With a living room that's built like this, you really appreciate so much of the exterior.
Let's talk about it, because it's another thing that I love about this house. Look how comfortably it sits on the lot. You don't really have a backyard, but the house has a lot of yard, right? It's like, first of all, it doesn't really have an entrance. It does have an entrance, but it doesn't have a facade per se, right? The whole structure is freeform. You can go through the front door, but you can go in from anywhere and come out from anywhere. And the backyard is your beach, and then you have a ton of side yards all around you. And I like this structure way more. And I'm really upset it sold for so cheap, because 13.5 was nothing for this house. As to $29 million for the Wave house next to it, which I don't value nearly half as good as this one, okay? So it's really interesting how the market reacted, and this sold really badly for what it was. But it's so comfortable, and it's really a pied-à-terre. It's a pied-à-terre is a home away from home, okay? And it's a compound, it's a pied-à-terre, and it fits that perfectly. It served its purpose, right? The reason it was created. Now, they surprisingly use it, I think, as their primary residence for many years. But the house is so comfortable. It just drops to your shoulder and lets you relax. And I'm going to talk about the architecture, because that has a lot to do with it too.
One very cool fact is that he built this fireplace and then angled every single one of these windows to reflect the firelight at night. He wanted to build a house that communicated and communed with nature. And that's what you feel in this living room space. This house has no foundations. It was built on a dinner plate of concrete that is on sand, which is non-compressible. Whenever there's been an earthquake, we hardly feel it at all. It just rides it out like almost a boat on the ocean.
Let's talk about the architecture, because it's really interesting. As I told you, it's free form. It doesn't have a front facade, back facade. I personally think it looks like a Dutch mill or a lighthouse married a straw hat of a scarecrow, okay? And this is their kid. But in its essence, it's humorous. It's like the Brits have something really funny. They say, are you taking the piss, right? Like, are you taking the piss out of me? Like,
are you taking the piss?
You see it, you're like, are you serious, right? Like, are we really doing this? But I like that. Like, I think, again, for a pied-à-terre, for a beach, Malibu beach house, it is very interesting. I think the purpose of a pied-à-terre, the purpose of a vacation home, the purpose of a beach home is to change your mood.
This is the dining area on the corner of the living room. When I was younger, this is how my father would call me in from surfing. The meal would be cooked in the kitchen and the table would be set here, and he'd go out right to this door You'd open it up. And believe it or not, you can hear that all the way out in the water.
Wow. That's so sentimental. Like he's remembering his memories in his childhood home that his father built for him and his mom and his brothers and siblings. Amazing. Really, really cool. And what a cool house. What a quirky house, right?
My father in the 60s, late 60s, was commissioned to do an interior decorating design of a kitchen in the Los Angeles Convention Center. They were taking it apart and they said to my father, well, we're just going to be throwing this stuff away. Do you want it? And my dad said, absolutely. So this round chopping block, the countertops, the round bar, this whole design that you see here came from an installation that was at the LA Convention Center. And my father just made it work seamlessly. And you have all your cooking knives are all right here at hand. We also have a beautiful fireplace over here that was always lit at night. And this is really where the community came and hung out.
Look at this kitchen. Okay, the couple elements. Did you notice the knives just go inside the counter? Like how crazy, right? And then I love this two-seated like bar right here. Very cool. The fact that the island is circle and then the bar around it is circle, looks out to the view. On the back side of the fireplace is your like, you know, cooked up barbecue area. It's amazing. And it's in the center of the house. Remember, like when it gets dark, everyone after that fireplace is going to congregate here in the center location. Like the energy comes in. It's really cool. Like it's an amazing pied-à-terre. It's an amazing vacation home.
For a while, we had Rod Stewart next door who would come over here. And suddenly the door would open and, hey, here comes Rod. It was just the community center. Everybody felt comfortable coming and hanging out here. This is my first bedroom, a lower floor of the sandcastle.
That's insane. Like he's showing us his bedroom that his dad built. Like a famous architect.
My father converted this into an office for his later years. So this could be an office. It could be converted back to a bedroom.
Yeah, if you turn it back to a bedroom, you have to put a door there and you lose that, right? Because I don't think any teenager or any kid would want a bedroom without a door. But I think it actually works better as an office. Reduces the number of bedroom count. I would not convert this back. Again, this is an amazing creative space.
Tons of circles. There's circles everywhere, the whole room. The sunken area over here with the primary bed right there. You look up and you have these vaulted ceilings with this beautiful, beautiful circle design. At the top of the staircase, you have this yellow stained glass window that is almost like you're looking through a magical lens. In the primary, you have this great little fireplace, but on the other side of it, you have a daybed that looks out over the entire ocean. It's where my mother used to read her scripts. It's where I used to just hang out and read books.
Okay, so it's really a loft space. If I was going to critique something on a vacation home pied-à-terre, the fact that you do have a lot of windows bringing natural light is good, but you're waking up whenever the sun comes up, right? Like that is a negative. And there were a lot of openings. So there's no controlling that. You can't build blinds for each single one of them. It just ruins the whole architecture. This building wakes you up. Doesn't care if you're hungover from the night before or not. You're waking up, baby.
There's a story about this, which leads up to my father's design studio. My father used to get up there, up a ladder, and scurry up the ladder through a small hole at the top. One day he was up there designing, and he looked out at the ocean, and he saw a tree floating by. So he jumped on the ladder, came down, grabbed a surfboard, paddled out, and dragged it in to shore. Got me and a bunch of my surf buddies to help him drag it up, tie it to a Monterey pine that's just outside, and we started sourcing out individual pieces of driftwood to make the steps. We put this whole thing together out there.
Okay, yes, it is very creative. Getting up here, inspirational. It's like you're at the top of a, lighthouse, but it's very inconvenient to get here. Now, not for Harry though. Mind you, he fought during the World War II D-Day. He landed on Omaha Beach. And this guy was going up and down these stairs till like 80s and 90s. He was a badass, and it worked for him. So if it doesn't work for you, maybe the problem is with you.
This was one of the places that I spent most of my youth. This backyard patio area with all this reclaimed brick on the ground. We would have amazing parties here. This whole space would just be alive with people and seafood that we had caught out in the kelp bed. This outdoor area here, it really kind of lended itself to being a community center. The shape of the house was very welcoming to people. I think the fact that it was round, unconventional, so creative, it was exciting for people to visit.
I bet, yeah, because it's round and it interacts. That whole indoor-outdoor flow is from every direction. And it's, I think, one of the reasons why I like this property more than the Wave House. The Wave House, the main living area, you get a terrace, right? You get a pretty shallow balcony to step out. It doesn't really interact with the land. It's perched up. You're on the water, on the sand. As to this one, is like, it's like a hut, right? Like you're in it with the land. You go out, you're touching it, you're feeling it. It's a lot more earthy than the Wave House.
Growing up surfing out here was always an adventure. Sometimes you want to step inside and take a break from the sun. We've got a cabana over here. It started out as a garage for our cars, then turned into a games room, then into my father's archives, and now it is a very comfortable cabana. So you surf, you come in for lunch, you have a seat, read a book, and go back out and surf again. It's a good lifestyle.
I would turn it into a bar. I think that would be a very, very cool bar. And I think one of Harry Gesner's idea was that a property should evolve, and he actually changes a lot of things about the property as he lived in it, and he was totally okay with it. I think that whole down area would really enjoy a really cool beach bar right there where it entertains everyone on this side of the property. Again, very beautiful. I love the fact that the nest, the structure mimics the main structure. Again, there's that a little bit of continuity to it. It's really magical. Like, it seems like you've done some right? Like, you show up to this property, it's like, am I tripping or am I tripping?
Am I tripping? Welcome to the nest. We have a little kitchenette over on this side. This is set up as a recording studio right now because one of my sons is a musician and he's doing a lot of creative work out here. But this is where I spent my youth and my teens. It echoes the same round structure as the main sandcastle.
Did you see the balcony sticking out on its side? Again, so the property evolved as he lived in it, and the kids got older, teenagers, so he built more structures around it and accommodated, just the property grew to accommodate his family, and it expresses that. It's really cool. It's like looking at the family history of Zen, right? It's like we're watching him grow as a child.
So we're standing in the treehouse apartment, which is on the front end of a 3-car garage. You have one bedroom here, you have a bathroom, shower. It has a great kitchen area, a great dining area with these floor-to-ceiling windows that look out over the sandcastle and out to the ocean.
Okay, this is my least favorite, structure of all. I mean, the depth of this living room, it's really offensive to even call it a living room. I love the fact that it opens up this higher elevation, this beautiful tree in front of it. But are you really going to hang out here? I just don't see ever hanging out here.
We are in the boathouse. This is a separate apartment, and we are currently standing in the living room area. This is a great, great guest apartment. There's plenty of room for a family to stay here. You have a very comfortable sitting area. You've got a kitchen, you've got a bedroom, and a bathroom with a shower, all filled with beautiful little touches. There was a battleship that was decommissioned, and they were tearing it apart and taking all the steel and everything and repurposing that into other boats and ships.
And let me guess, they called your dad. What the hell? Again, you wouldn't be, if you actually listen to his interviews and the stories this guy says, like, God bless his soul, has passed away. He has some outlandish stories, right? That, again, there's a part of me that thinks, like, don't let truth get away in a really good story. But again, a lot of it adds up too. You know, he's just, again, it's not just the story. The way he says the stories are incredible, are very interesting. He was a very interesting man, very charming man. I think out of all the architects out there, like, I would have enjoyed the most hanging out with him. Now, there are architects that I enjoy a lot more than him, but I don't think they had half the personality as Harry did.
Except for the portholes that they were just going to throw away. And my father thought that was ridiculous. So he found a way to incorporate it.
I'm surprised, like, Elon Musk didn't call him, right? Like, he's like, hey, I got a Falcon 9. It crashed. Do you want it? It's like, yeah, send it over. Built it something with it.
This mural that's behind it, a family member of ours, she stayed out here for about 2 weeks. We had no idea what she was doing. And basically she left. And when we came up to see the place, it was all painted. And she did this beautiful undersea mural.
Again, this area of the property, I'm not digging at all. I think starting with the tree house and the boat house, you're trying too hard. Okay, you're trying too hard. And I think, I don't know why, again, he had 4 wives. Maybe he had a lot of stepkids. And like all these children are coming to visit him, and he had to accommodate, and he just had so much to work with. I don't think this structure adds any value except just maybe utility to fit, multiple people sleeping over. I do believe the tree house has potential if you convert the garage, the parking spaces, into it and actually make a unit out of it. Having said that, according to title, I think it says it has 6 bedrooms. But on title, it's like 1 or 2 bedrooms. So a lot of this stuff is perhaps not permitted, but I'm pretty sure nobody messes it with them in Malibu. It's like a historic property. So he's definitely got a lot of fans in Malibu for sure.
Sandcastle is a bit of everything. It really is a perfect example of who my father was. To some people, it looks medieval, like a castle. To some people, it looks like a Dutch windmill. To some people, a Spanish lighthouse. I think that whoever lives here can't help but evolve with it. This is a very specific place with a magical quality about it. There's nothing ordinary, nothing boring. For the first time on the market, from my family to yours.
And it only sold for $13.5 million, very close to dirt value. And I think that's really disappointing. You see, when real estate agents come to price a property, a lot of times they either really like the seller or they want to appease to the seller, let alone if the seller is an architect or a son of an architect. There's a pedigree and there's a level of respect that is really hard to be objective. It's very, very hard to be objective. Now, a lot of real estate agents just price high to get the listing and then for you to realize it's not worth that much. But it's a shame that this sold for 13.5 because it, at the very, very minimum, it should have sold above 15, 16. Very minimum. But it was listed so high. And then with one price drop to like 20 and then it sold for 13.5. Which is, again, it was worth a lot more than that. I think on a good market, maybe if it was marketed around 17, 18, it could have gone over, right? You could have had a bidding war over it. Okay, now let's give it an Arvin score. But before I do that, if you're planning to design or build a property for yourself, you're going to get pulled in so many different directions by all the vendors trying to sell you what they think is best for you. Maybe with all good intentions or maybe with bad intentions. You're going to come to points where you have to make a lot of decisions where you don't know what's good. And when you don't know what's good, it's really hard to make the right decision. You end up agreeing with your vendor or the designer and everything. So if you want to have a third person, unbiased, who looks after your best interest to give you design choices, layout choices, architectural choices that are great for resale value and will still make your own satisfaction out of the property even more, I would love to be that guy to you. Here's the QR code. Fill out the application. If we're a right fit, I would love to help you out. Okay, location. Very cute nook. Most people don't even know where it is or where it exists, okay? But for me, you're too far out. You're too north. And if you live in LA, that's a long drive away. You're almost in Ventura County. I have to give it a 7.5. Lot quality, almost 32,000 square foot, but not all of it is flat. I would say you have at least 20,000 square foot flat on the beach, but it's a wet beach, but it is a private beach. I'm going to give it a 9. Lot utilization. You do have a tiny private driveway. It's not really tree line or beautiful. You're set back from the street though. Then the property sits so comfortably on the lot. Side yards everywhere, and then the beach is your backyard. I'm gonna give it another 9. Privacy. It's in a gated little neighborhood. I want to say like maybe 8 or 10 homes are in this little area. You do have the wave house looking into parts of the house, but it's well vegetated. I'm gonna give it an 8. Lot orientation. You're south facing and it's round. It's got a ton of glass. You're gonna have natural light coming. You're gonna see the sun rise to set. It's gonna be beautiful. I'm gonna give it a 10. Architectural style. When an architect gets to design and build a property for himself is really the acid test for the architect. And he freaking nails it. He incorporates his quirky personality, his sense of humor, his sense of adventure into a beach property pied-à-terre perfectly. It's an absolute 10. Views. You have front row ocean view. But the fact that it was actually stepped back as opposed to the wave house where it was sticking out into the front, I thought it was good because you had these trees that kind of framed the view and gave you that whole like hot look, right? Was it Mr. Robinson? I got that vibe. I watched that cartoon and I got exactly that energy. I'm going to give it a 9. Layout. I have never seen a roundhouse design this good. Indoor outdoor flow. That living room, how much use you got out of it, every part of it, and then the kitchen that brought the whole place together. Extremely charming. Again, I challenge you guys to design a round space. Very hard to do. Most round homes I've seen, it's all wasted. There's a ton of waste, okay? People don't know when walls curve what to do with them, where to partition them, where to capture the view. This was an excellent choice. I'm going to give it a 10. Scale and volume. You do have that big living room, but the ceiling heights are low. The rooms are really small. It's more of a pied-à-terre. I have to give it a 3. Finishes. This is going to be incredibly hard to score because obviously all the finishes are really old, right? But at the same time, they're reclaimed material and they lasted so long. And it goes with this hat-looking building, right? It's like, what else? Are you going to put marble inside? Like, what are you going to put, right? It is this kind of a hut cabin vibe. So I have to give it a 7. Now, this is the Arvin score. If you want to see Harry Gesner's worst work, watch this video. If you want to work with me, link is in the description. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the comments. Have a good one.